And I just realized we had this chat without recording.
No.
Fabulous. I love
Well,
it.
again, we trust that everything happens as it needs to.
And the people that showed up heard exactly what they needed to hear in this. So I love it. And whoever was here needed to hear what was needed to be said. All
Mhm.
right. So if you do have any questions, pop them in the chat. Okay. Is there any other piece that you would like to add?
I think it's worthy to just say again that who you are is so needed as you are. That any version of you that you're dreaming up, that you're feeling called to step deeper into, is also available and needed and will happen as you accept who you are now, as you accept your environment, your circumstances, as you are, the decisions that you've made up until this point that have gotten you to this point, the more you can accept who you are and appreciate, if that might feel like a stretch, but to really appreciate the journey that you've been on. My goodness, these lives are not easy to show up to all the time. And yes, we can compare and we can guilt or gaslight ourselves into thinking, okay, well, this person has it worse, so I should just be grateful. But no, like allow yourself to be in your experience. It's all relative. You have had ups and downs. You have had doubts and fears. You have had exciting, moments of flow and fluidity and alignment. And yet, here we are, however old you are, however far along in your journey, or, early in on your journey, you are where you are because of all of those experiences. And that is wisdom. That is lived experience. That is all encompassing in who you are and how you move forward. So the more we can honor that, the more we bring an appreciation and like a curated or crystallized wisdom with who we are becoming. If we are running from who we are because we don't accept it, we don't appreciate our past, we don't appreciate the decisions we have made. I've made decisions in my life that have hurt me deeply. I have made decisions that have hurt me deeply. And yet I appreciate that because if I can be honest with myself and present with myself, then I can see that I did the best I could along the way. And now, standing here, moving forward, I can learn from that, not learning to avoid pain or suffering, but learning more about me and how I move through the world and the honesty or integrity or whatever values that you hold dear to you. And you can move forward. I feel like as long as we're living in alignment with our true values, that is how we really bridge to who we are or who we are to become. These ideas of success and these kind of external moments of validation, whether it's a decision to, I want to be able to earn this amount of money or be respected by these people or whatever it is that is kind of the quote unquote goal, it really won't be fulfilling to us unless it is in alignment with our values as human beings. And again, our values will differ from person to person, but knowing your values, accepting who you've been, accepting who you are right now, and appreciating who you are can move us forward in alignment with our values and who we are to become. And then the rest gets to be a beautiful unfolding of a mystery, but it can be exciting and miraculous. And we can look at all of these things as gifts and flow. I know I'm in a moment of my life right now where things just seem to flow, but it took it took a moment of being really honest with myself. And I almost said it took some stormy weather, like getting through some stormy weather, but that doesn't actually have to be your experience. So again, that's another belief that I think we need to have, that no pain, no gain. That doesn't need to be true. So can we even drop that and just allow everything in? But as long as it's in alignment with what your values are, I think it'll be such a beautiful life.
Anita says, reframing illness has been a key to my healing journey. So how would you, Kristina, reframe what most people think of as an illness, as a disease, something wrong happening to them?
This is one of my favorite things to do. This is how I, was able to overcome chronic illness. And again, what if this is actually a symptom of healing so I love Germanic health knowledge. It used to be German New Medicine, but Germanic health knowledge, I think they rebranded. And what I love about it is that it's just a mindset. It's just a mindset. It backed by science, but that's kind of my go-to of remembering that actually, again, my body is, like you had said earlier, our bodies are like set to heal if we can move out of the way. And sometimes we need to, make a certain environment. I'm not going to start giving health advice to anybody. However, for myself, really accepting that what I was experiencing, even if it was really painful, I at one point I had head to toe eczema, like really, really bad, really, really, really bad. People were commenting on it all the time who just saw me. And recognizing, okay, it's something coming out of my body. I'm just giving you one example. That's something coming out of my body, as opposed to what do I need to do to stop this? Just to be clear, because I can tell I'm kind of going around it. It created a lot of food fear for me. So I was really afraid of what to eat that was going to create this flare up. By overriding that association of what I'm eating is creating a flare up, I was overriding it to decide that whatever I ate was healing me and moving that out of my system for me. I was able to eat what I wanted. I was able to heal from allergies and food sensitivities, which had accumulated like a long grocery list. And I was able to heal overall. And again, this is not me giving medical advice, but rather just showing the power of the mind, that if I can truly believe that everything is happening for me, then I can get 2 hours of sleep at night with my 10-month-old and feel well rested in the morning. If I was counting the hours and being like really keeping a mental track of my sleeping patterns, and that was stressing me out. By recognizing everything is happening for me, I really adopted it as like a strong affirmation, that it just allowed me to experience what I was experiencing. If I'm tired, or if I'm experiencing certain symptoms associated with illness, then I'm using that as a way to navigate my day. Maybe I need to take rest. Maybe I need to not be so social. Maybe I need to, look inward more. Maybe I need to have a nice bath or sauna. It's not I'm doing something wrong and now I need to, fix this, or I'm doing something's wrong with me, and now I need somebody to look at this. It's like, okay, can I take this and just do my best with it while still seeking help as needed? Of course. but just again, bringing in that mindset of accepting this as there's something else here.
And from a cell biology point of view, the cell makes the previous cell and makes the previous cell. And so when we're talking about chronic illness, you need to make the new cell forget its programming or go back to its regular natural state of programming so that it doesn't recreate the, let's say, thyroid cell that isn't working properly, or the cancer cell, or whatever it is. And so when you do that, even something simple as when we were talking about before, if you're in a state of stress, then you've got the cortisol, you've got the adrenaline, and all your cells are bathed in that. And they have a different chemical response and a different signal when it's bathed in, danger and going into protection. It doesn't have the same frequency and the same activity as going into healing. When you're in your sympathetic, your fight, flight, the body reacts to that state. The cells go into protection. There's danger. And it changes from using the ATP, which is the energy of the cell. It changes that from one that would be using the energy to make a new cell that's in a healing process to one that's saying, okay, I'm going to protect and defend. Right? And even in your own body, protection and defense is very different from I'm in a state of healing, of relaxation, of being able to process who I'm being right now.
And I think so much of present day illness is like this need for integration of all of the fast-paced life that we have. Like we have so many experiences by such a young age. People have experienced so much trauma, and even our past generations is still living in our cells, right? So it makes sense that this is like really reprogramming the cells to their original pattern. That's why we're seeing sound healing emerge and all of these quote unquote alternative therapies that are really ancient practices of preserving our health and our like our geometry.
Interesting you say that, because I was just reading a story about generational cortisol. And what that means is when you are in your mother's womb and she was experiencing stress and having all the cortisol running through her, your nervous system was adapting to that. So that by the time you came out, you already had a certain level of cortisol, a certain level of your nervous system reacting in that way, because you got it generationally from your mom and from, whoever else down the line.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, like war's still happening in our world, but like for where we are living, wars, it wasn't that long ago. War and survival and famine, that's just a few generations ago, So again, for some of us, it's even closer than that, but there's a lot. And I feel like it is a bit of a gift. Sometimes I tell my mom, because I'm also very visual, so I'll have very clear visions of what is moving through my body, and I'll share it with my mom, and she's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, no, it's actually a huge honor and a huge gift to be able to know what our ancestors have gone through. And some of them have had very peaceful lives as well, but not without hardship. And to know that they had that, and they might not have had the space to grieve, to process, to let go, to go to the chiropractor, to jump on a Zoom call and journal some notes down. They might not have had access to these resources or time in which they were able to process and integrate. It was just like, go, 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 survive, survive, survive. And so to me, it's a luxury, it's a privilege, it's an honor. And it doesn't always feel like that when you're in the middle of it, but I do my best to remind myself of that while I'm going through something, just that perspective of this is something I get to let go of, not this is something I have to carry.
That's beautiful. And also, I find sometimes we focus so much on the generational trauma, we forget about the generational gifts that we were given on the other end.
There's so much resilience.
So much resilience, so many other things that have been passed down to you. So it's not just all the trauma, you also got the gifts from the lines before you as well.
Yeah. And I love like A Course in Miracles. I don't know if anybody, follows that, but A Course in Miracles will say that the solution is always attached to the problem. You cannot separate them. So whatever you need to heal from, you have the resources within you to do that. Whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, and again, whatever that means to you spiritually. Mm-hmm.
Jackie also had a question. She says, acceptance can sometimes be mistaken as resignation. What do you recommend to reframe the shift from one to the other?
Okay, hold on. I need to read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Resignation. Like to be more passive. Acceptance can sometimes be mistaken as resignation. To me, acceptance is really powerful, as is surrender, which can also be looked at as I guess resignation. And it's, again, I think it's a personal feeling of what you're really intending. I can step into my power and accept all of me. Even just saying that, I accept all of me. I accept this. I don't accept that I have no voice in the matter. I don't accept things that I could change. I could leave. Like I don't accept. This is a really good question.
Did you want to talk to Jackie? She might be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Jackie, are you willing to come on? Way to throw you.
Sure, I'm willing to.
Join the conversation.
Hi, Kristina.
Hi.
So this is something I bump up against in terms of sometimes I'm just like, okay, it is what it is, but it's kind of a very flippant way of being about it, or it's like I don't want to deal with it right now. And then I'm using the words of acceptance, but it's not in alignment with, I think it's that movement or momentum you were talking about, where it's taking me in the direction I really want to go. So it's almost as though, it just becomes this flippancy about it, or it may just become a way for me to go deeper into that dark place that I don't want to step into. So it's actually doing the reverse of where I wanted to go.
I completely understand. I feel like I've been there many times. And again, I will say it comes down to intention.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to change anything to shift out of that. Acceptance it doesn't have to be like, okay, well, I just accept this and I am not going to do anything about it. I can accept that I'm exhausted and overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
That feels empowering to me. I accept and I can see myself. I'm exhausted and I'm overwhelmed. I'm giving myself another day. Now, say I accept that in myself, and then comes that voice that's telling me I'm lazy, I'm never going to do it, I'm just giving myself excuses and blah, 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 blah. If I'm really buying into that narrative, if I'm really buying into all of that noise, then I can almost like slip into that. And that's not acceptance anymore to me. I go from, I accept that I'm tired in this moment and I choose to take a nap. Or I accept that I believe that I'm lazy and that just feels like defeat. So is there something?
As you're speaking, what I'm getting is that there's a judgment there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the judgment is I should, or rather than I choose, it goes into I should be doing something else, or I should be, I should be showing up in a different way. So it's a residual judgment that is there that I'm hearing.
Yeah, and that is that can be like a parasite,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Time to get
Using
it.
the word should means it should be different than what it actually is in
It
this moment,
is.
right?
And that's not acceptance.
Yeah, that's not
Mhm.
acceptance. You can say I
Mhm.
could, and then you have all these
Mhm.
possibilities, right? But shoulding isn't the acceptance of what is.
Oh, thank you for this. That's just a major piece right there. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I can also just add, like, accepting again that you've fallen into this pattern, acknowledging yourself, and knowing it doesn't have to be this way. This is where I would bring out my journal and start to write down all the shoulds, all the judgments that I've had within myself. Because sometimes when we're hearing them, they just seem kind of normal because we're used to that kind of chatter. As soon as you start writing them down and you read them back, it's almost like, oh, I can't believe I thought this way. I can't believe I believed this about myself. I can't believe I have these expectations of myself. And then shifting from that into remembering that you are a divine being as you are, period. Period. If you did nothing, and I really want to stress this because I think, you know, I had parents who were lovely, are lovely, they're still here. I have parents who are lovely, and they saw a great potential and raised me that way, that I felt like I could never meet my potential. And with that, I want to say that many people have this. Many people have this. I should be doing more. I'm tired. I take a 5-minute nap and I don't actually, or I sit down on the couch and I don't actually rest. I try to be productive, or I end up on my phone and I start getting mad at myself. And this is the weird judgment cycle, right? But if I can move out of that and just allow myself to hear what I'm about to say, that is, if you do nothing else for the rest of your life, you mattered. You fulfilled the mission. Your existence and your breath is all that's needed here. Anything else is just what is just exciting. Anything else you want to add to that, but your existence on this earth is fulfilled by you just being here.
Ooh, take a breath on that one.
And to circle back to the beginning where we started, presence is the bridge, is building the bridge. Your presence makes a difference in the world. Just simply by your presence being here has already shifted. Because if you weren't here, even in this call, your presence, just simply by being here, has made a difference.
Oh, and that's so. I felt that. And what it's bringing up for me is this. What I'm hearing from myself is the bridge is gratitude. So whatever moment I'm in, that bridge is gratitude for me. So when you talk about the gift of traumas or generational trauma, or whatever that thing may be, I thought, oh, the gift, gratitude. But now I'm hearing from me the bridge between wherever I am and whatever I'm anticipating as my next step. I won't say it's going to be the next step. Whatever I anticipate or believe is the creation of my next step is, how is gratitude filling me up to be grateful for the journey that I've been on, where I am now, and setting the next step for the next space that I'm stepping. So thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, for asking that. And yeah, bringing up gratitude. Gratitude to me is is the acceptance, the acknowledgement for all that we already have. That is the abundance, right? Is to see ourselves also in gratitude, to see our lives in gratitude. I know in my personal page and in my world, I talk about life being the ceremony and living as a prayer. My life is a prayer. My life is my gift back to my ancestors. My life is my gift to God.
And you are the answer to your ancestors' prayers. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for being here. I need to go pick up my children from school, so I do need to end this. But thank you so much, Kristina. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. I'm going to send out this half of the recording, which was brilliant anyways, if both parts were. And send out Kristina's, all her info, so that you can follow her, so that if you have questions for her, that you may be able to contact her. And I think this was fabulous. I want to do it again. What do you think, Kristina?
I'm down. Let's do it again.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, and have a great day.
Love you.